So, as I was telling y'all, a chick broke her freaking ankle back into 2023, and Misha did not believe that I broke my ankle. I mean, we that was in 2019. We in 2023, and this chick still will tell you if you ever ask her, like, what happened. She's saying she'll tell you. I don't even understand how she broke her ankle. She just don't believe that I broke my ankle. So anyway, now we in a car, and she has to drive. We're on our way from Pennsylvania to New York. So we already made it from Virginia to New York at this time. I mean, excuse me, from Virginia to PA, and then from PA we had to go to New York. So I think we had, if I'm not mistaken, about 3 hours still, maybe less than that. I don't remember. All I know is that I had her go inside of the gas station and get me some pain pills. So I have pulmonary embolism, so I can't take all medication. But at this time, after I done snapped my foot back in place, I didn't care what you gave me. I was going to take it if you was going to tell me it was going to end this pain. Clearly, I wasn't thinking because, like I said, I have pulmonary embolism, which is blood clots on my lungs. So therefore, there could have been a possibility that my blood, the blood wasn't flowing through my foot or through my leg, so that can cause me to clot, which can be fatal in a sense. But again, me in pain and just wanting to get to New York, I wasn't thinking about it. I'm just popping pills. And when I say I was popping pills, I'm surprised I didn't OD. Like, I'm surprised by the time I got to the hospital, they didn't have to pump my stomach. Because when I tell you nothing worked, I cried the whole time. Every time she hit a bump, every turn, everything, I cried. And I had to cry silently because we had the 3 boys in the back, and I did not want to wake them up or disturb them. My mom, because I had to call my mother, and I'm like, Ma, I broke my foot. So she didn't believe me either. She was like, what do you mean you broke your foot? I'm like, Ma, I broke my foot. She was like, you don't sound like you broke a bone. Nobody believed me. I'm telling her I broke my foot. And then when she realized that, like, because I video, I FaceTimed her, and I showed her how swollen my foot was. My ankle was like this big. And she's like, you have to stop. You have to go to the hospital there. Like, don't drive no more, this and that. And I'm like, Ma, I'm not stopping. Because who's sitting in the hospital with these 3 little boys? I think my nepson was only 2 or 3 at the time. Ain't nobody sitting in no hospital with no 3 kids under the age of 10. Because I think if there was like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, or 7 and 8, I don't know. Can't remember. All I know is that I wasn't sitting in a hospital with them. Because I know how it goes. Like, you have to get an x-ray. First of all, going to the hospital alone, you're sitting there for a long period of time if your injuries isn't that serious. Like, so this is not life and death. At least I didn't think that it would be. So I'm thinking in my head, we're going to stop. We're going to wait in the emergency room for forever. Then we're going to get in the back. They're going to give me an x-ray. Then I got to wait for the x-ray to come back. Then they're going to wrap me up, and then I'm going to drive back with a cast. Then it's a possibility that I'm going to have a hospital bill to pay from Pennsylvania. Absolutely not. I'm not doing this. I will meet you in New York. So I basically told her, like, hey, when we get there, when we get to New York, I want you to, I'm going to drop the kids off to you. Talking about my youngest son and my nephew's son. I was going to drop the kids off to my mother, and then I was going to go to the hospital because Misha was going to go to work. So as we get there, now, like, as we driving, like, I can't, now I'm starting to lose feeling in my foot. Now I'm getting scared. Like, now I got a little bit of conscience in me, and I'm using my brain a little bit. I'm getting scared. So I called the hospital. I called New York Presbyterian because, like, no shade to my city. I'm from New Row. Love New Row all day, every day. But South Shore is not the place to go. And I damn sure wasn't going to Mount Vernon Hospital. So I called New York Presbyterian. And it was just closer to go to New York Presbyterian versus trying to go to Valhalla, knowing that she had to go to work. So I called the hospital, and I told them what's going on. So they're like, so ma'am, hold on. Let me just get this straight. So even though you broke your ankle, you knew you broke it, you're driving? So I was like, well, I'm in the passenger seat. Yes, my best friend is driving. So they're like, okay, whatever. We get there. I ended up, by the time we got there, it took us so long. I ended up calling my sister. So I was like, hey, I was like, we're going to pick you up first. We're going to squeeze in the car. We're going to pick you up. We're going to drop Misha off. And then you going to take the car, drop the kids off, and then take me to the hospital. And then you could take the car until I get out the hospital. So again, in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to get an x-ray. And they're going to wrap this foot up. And then I'm going to be in the cast for 6 to 8 weeks like any other broken bone I done had. I mean, well, actually, when I broke my arm, that was the longest cast. That was the longest time I've ever had on the cast, was my broken arm. But anyway, I didn't think that I didn't think that it was as bad as it was, put it that way. So, like I said, I cried all the way there. I was banging on the door. I was gripping like the side, like my hands was like messed up because I was gripping the door so hard to try to fight off crying out loud so that I didn't disturb the kids. The whole ride, not only is me and Misha arguing, but she just keeps saying, you're so dramatic, watch, it's just sprained. And I'm like, bro, I don't know why you don't believe that this ankle is broke. Like, I don't know why you just didn't get out the car and seen it for yourself. Because if you would have got out the car the first time when you knocked me in my daggone head, then you would have seen that my foot was actually turned to the side. And then you probably would have believed me. Oh, Lord. The things I go through. And I still question my friendship with her to this day, especially behind that. Just on that, because I ain't never have no problems with her. We ain't them best friends that beef, like, we never had a problem. But the fact that you still, to this day, don't believe I broke my ankle, that's an issue for me. Like for part 3.